Warning: the following podcast contains adult language and childish comedy. Listener discretion is advised. And now, please adjust your headphone volume to an unreasonable level and enjoy the most dynamic and electrifyingly entertaining podcast ever to conquer cyberspace. This is
Amish Baby Machine.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the most powerful podcast ever created, the Amish Baby Machine Podcast, starring me, Dags, and Johnny Rage. The Amish Baby Machine Podcast is a powerful American pop culture podcast. And now, somewhere unknown, probably in a Burger King drive-thru, is Johnny Rage.
Come on, dude. You got to get more original than that. I mean, there are other fast food restaurants. Can't you say something else?
I thought you were waiting for the Impossible Burger.
I am. Day 45. We're still waiting here.
Now,
Can't wait to...
Now, before we begin, I'm going to have to address something.
Wait a minute. We already begun, so you can't say before we begin. We already begun.
Well, before the hilarity ensues.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, it's going to be serious.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. There's been allegations about altering a video of Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, I have saw that.
So what they're saying is a person slowed it down 75% to make her slur.
Make her sound intoxicated. Yes.
Yes. Well, there's been allegations of this podcast.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar. I'm just going to tell everyone. There's been allegations that I've been altering the audio, editing the audio to make it seem like Johnny Rage is dumber than he is.
That must take hours, because with this brilliance and the wisdom that I possess, to try to take that and make it look anything differently, we have our board crew, our team of people that do that. Brilliant people. Because I am a brilliant person. So
you are. So I take that as a compliment. The allegations.
Right. So, anywho, what else do you got there, Mr. Dags, on your end? What's going on?
Well, we enjoyed a movie last night, Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that, because I'm a huge fan of the Godzilla stuff, and I don't know if you are necessarily. When we left the movie theater, you just kind of chuckled and kept stayed to yourself. Should we jump into it, or should we kind of tease the audience with more stuff?
Well, I do want to hear about your grilling experience.
Do you want to start with that, or do you talk
Absolutely. Well, whatever you want to talk about. The microphone is yours.
Frontal nudity, is that included?
Only side nudity.
On a windy day? No. Gosh, I'm so fired up, Dags, I don't know where to start. Have you ever had so much spewing knowledge and information you just didn't know where to start this thing?
It's magical, isn't it?
Oh, it's the magic begins here. But let's go to the grill, because we've talked about that. That's kind of where we left off last week. We don't have to do too much time on this because we went in depth, but I don't know if I have actually grilled with it at this point last time. Did I?
No, you didn't. That's why we started talking about it. Talked about all your powerful grilling techniques.
Okay, so I'm going to be a little... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it culminated in the purchase of the pellet grill.
Right. I'm a huge charcoal guy. I told you this before. I've said this on the podcast. Never once have I ever had the desire to go back to a propane tank. I talked about this. I said, whenever you're grilling or camping, there has to be some level of inconvenience in order for it to count as such. Why do we just take a gas grill, which is basically the same thing you have 30 feet into your kitchen? I mentioned this last week. To me, that's not a grilling experience. So I like charcoal. I told you how I'm setting this up, how the whole process just gets my juices flowing, from igniting the charcoal to the process where it's getting the coals are white till the time you drop it in and you get your meat on the grill. It's a whole process that I truly enjoy. I was sold on the charcoal, but I heard a lot about these pellet burners. I wasn't buying into it initially. Finally, I said, you know what, we should take a better look at this stuff. And I looked at them online and didn't quite understand. Well, it's kind of like it takes my charcoal completely out of the picture. But you know what? I talked myself into one. I found a fairly inexpensive one, and I bought it last week. As I said, I hadn't had a chance to grill. I have used it now on several occasions. I got the good, bad, and the ugly here now. There definitely, Dags, is a learning curve. Okay? Even if you're a grill master, a grill chef, sous chef like I am. You know that I'm a sous chef.
Tell us what a sous chef means.
Well, I made a meal for my family. It was so bad they sued me. I just love that dad humor. Anyway, so the first thing I do, I figure, we're gonna start out easy. We're gonna do hamburgers. Now, with these pellet grills, you can smoke or treat it kind of like a convection oven. And so I put it to the test, both aspects. I smoked my hamburgers for about 45 minutes, and then I turned up the burner to about 350, and I finished cooking them, which would kind of be like a reverse sear. Boy, I even sound like I know what I'm talking about too. When you're talking reverse sear, this is a guy that knows what he's doing. So I did the reverse sear on it. The hamburgers were what I liked about the hamburgers, they didn't lose their size. You know how sometimes you put a hamburger patty on the grill and when it's done, it's like 3/4 or half the size it was.
So it's a shower, not a grower.
Kind of like when you jump into the pool, So anyway, it maintained its size, it maintained its girth, it maintained its
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it wasn't burnt. It was very juicy. The one thing, however, I did miss with it is I did give up a little bit of that charcoal flavor. I didn't think the smoke was as heavy as the charcoal. I was hoping the smoke would lay it on a little thicker than it did.
Now I want to talk about your wood. What kind of wood did you use?
What I went with is just for starters, there's all kinds of different wood flavors, wood pellets. I just bought the basic generic 2 for 15 just to kick things off. I didn't get all scientific on this at all. We'll build to that. Okay.
But
and
hold
why
on,
you ask-
hold on. Do we know what type of wood it is?
It sounds very odd when one man asks another man about his wood. I think that
What's wrong with that? It's completely natural.
It's kind of awkward, I think. But so Dags, you're concerned after all this, you're more concerned about my wood.
Yes. What kind of wood? Do you know what it was or not?
I'll never forget when my nephew, when Toy Story was popular, he got Tom Hanks was the voice for Woody, and for Christmas, everybody asked him, "Hey, what'd you get for Christmas?" And he was very young, and he said, "I got a 14-inch Woody." Oh, it was pretty funny. No laugh track for that one.
Oh, hold on.
Dag? Well, it's too late now. So Dags, a 14-inch Woody, good stuff. The type of wood was just a generic wood. It was kind of for all purpose because there is different pellets for different meats. This one was kind of a general all-purpose one. So I use that to start off with, but we will go a little in depth at a later time on that as well. So I told you about the hamburger. A little disappointed in the hamburger. Next up on the list, I really wanted to get after it. We bought a pork butt because we wanted to do pulled pork. I mean, when you think smoker, you think ribs and pulled pork. So we got a 3-pound pulled pork, which is not very large because we didn't want to start big because we're newbies to this. Very disappointed with that. I tried to smoke it on the smoke setting. I don't know why that smoke setting says smoke it because it's a very low temperature, too low. I mean, we had this thing for 12 hours and we were still at 188 degrees meat temperatures. You need to be 205 for pulled pork. So I'm gonna chalk that up as a rookie mistake. I didn't put the you should have 225. I came in at 160, 180 for way too long. We did turn it up probably about 6 hours into it, but it was far too late. The damage was done in terms of this baby. We never did finish it to its optimal temperature, 205. So strike one against me for that. Yesterday, Dags, I rolled with some chicken drummies, and I thought they were damn near perfect. Yeah, I'm getting better, which every time I use this thing, I'm getting better and better. I like this thing because it's kind of, again, I use charcoal. There's a process with that of which I enjoy. But with this thing, you hit a button and you turn a dial on, and bam, you're good to go. for the most part. You just have to wait like 10 minutes. So it's not cheating. I consider propane cheating, kind of. This isn't cheating because you get the smoky flavor as well as you can turn into your convection type oven. So far, I'm loving it, and I will have plenty more reporting on what's on the grill coming from this point. We'll do a segment. Maybe we can get Traeger to sponsor it.
Now, do you know what kind of wood it was? Was it mesquite? Was it apple? You don't know, or
You have this fixation on my wood. I don't understand.
well,
this.
what I'm trying to say is different woods have different, like mesquite that tends to be harsher smoke.
It was
some
very
people like
soft, very soft with a mushroom head. What kind would that be?
I don't know.
You want to find out?
Yeah, you need to pay attention because you're trying to get into this grilling. A big
but
part of it is what kind of wood you use to get a
Baby
different smoke
steps.
flavor.
Dave's baby steps. Okay. I
I'm
was
just going to need you
overwhelmed.
to pay attention.
Okay.
Now, did you
Okay.
have help, or did you do this all alone?
I did it all alone.
Because you used the word we.
We is everybody who was involved in the process, which is me. Look at the size of me. I mean, when I'm standing in a crowd, they say, "Hey, this is no room for gang activity here."
Are you trying to segue into Godzilla, King of the Monsters?
We could do that. This would be an opportunity for us to talk about it. We saw it together yesterday. Why don't you kick it off, Dags? I've talked about my grill. Let's start with your review or tell us about your experience with Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Now, King of the Monsters was... So, I'm confused right now, just right off the bat. Johnny Rage, help me out. King Kong. Where does that come into the mix? Because was there going to be the last King Kong, was that supposed to go into Godzilla?
They led you to believe that. Matter of fact, one of the things we didn't do is we should have stayed for after the credits, because that's when they introduced Godzilla King Kong, when it was the King Kong of Skull Island movie like 2 years ago. I don't know if there was something after the credits that promoted King Kong and Godzilla fighting. I don't know, but it's pretty. Well, no, go ahead. I'll add as you.
No, that's fine. This is a group effort. Now, I just want the fans to know that you almost got into a fist fight before the movie started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
You had to bring that up, huh? Well, here it is, dude. I was a little crabby to begin with because I was tired. I took a nap that was far too short than what I wanted to, so I woke up just kind of groggy and crabby.
Did you have a headache?
Kind of a headache, kind of a pissy, kind of a, I'd rather just stay on the couch, but I really want to see this movie type attitude. So anyway, I finally get to the movie late and it's raining, and that pisses me off. And there's no parking because it's Tuesday, because all the cheap people go out on Tuesdays to see these movies. So I park a mile away from this theater, run in the rain, get in there, pay for our tickets, go up to the concession stand where I'm finally like, okay, I'm in my place now. I'm in the movie theater. I feel good. Well, there were 3 ladies standing up at the counter, but there was only 2 lines for them. I thought the middle lady was jumping in because it was getting busy, so she was going to assist. Sometimes they kind of ham and egg it on a register. Well, when I was standing there, she wasn't helping me, but the guy next to me, to my right, was ordering his stuff. And he's looking at me like, "Can I help you? Do I know you?" And I'm looking at him like maybe I did know him, because, I mean, Dags, we know how far-reaching and with my personality, how many people know me.
Powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I could be on the moon and it'd be somebody probably know me.
On the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. Where unlike you're just known for mooning, right?
What's wrong with that? It's completely natural. What's the deal with all the moons now? So when we were a kid, there was the full moon. That was about it, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a super blue moon. There's wolf moon. There's new moon on Monday. What's with all the moons?
I think
there wasn't that many moons back then.
Climate change, dude.
Oh, it's changing the climate?
Yeah, we just blame everything on climate change. When the Vikings lose, it's climate change. Okay, let's just roll with that.
Now I want to get into, because I, with the linear thought, and I just like to go off on tangents. And one thing I noticed about Godzilla, they didn't get into climate change. I thought that's what affected.
What do you mean?
I thought they'd have like some climate change monster or something.
Oh, but they talked about climate change. That was what the whole thing was based on. I thought.
Because,
what do you mean they didn't?
Well, do you remember in the original one they had the smog monster?
Mm-hmm.
Powerful, because that was their problem back then, smog.
Yeah.
So I thought they'd have a
Uh,
cool like climate change monster.
well, I think the monsters were released so that they could help with the climate. So there is kind of a connection there. There's not a specific um, climate change monster, but they all were there to help change the
So what do
climate
you think
back.
they could have like Sasquatch where he wouldn't use as much hairspray because it damages the ozone layer? What do you
Mhm.
think? CFCs and
I don't like it because Sasquatch is Sasquatch is not an icon. He's not a titan like what we witnessed yesterday.
but what if
Okay,
they should make him bigger?
with some radioactive stuff, just
Yes.
juice him. Yeah, but he'd be worthless. He doesn't have any like powers to do anything.
Oh, unlike a stupid moth.
Well, did you see the claws on that thing? I mean, he took up Rodan with just a little, you know. How did Rodan survive that? By the way, I did not understand that.
I don't
And
know.
before,
Well, I like how these monsters are birthed from the depths of the earth, the fire and the fury, and then these planes shoot little missiles at them designed to shoot down other planes. Like, what's
Mhm,
this little missile going to do? This thing was born of fire and the pressure of the earth. Come on.
exactly. And how many times does it happen where the dumbass gets too close and they just kind of paw out like a cat does, "Ugh," and it takes five helicopters or jets down. Dude, stay away from the thing, okay? I mean, you don't have to get 2 feet in front of the thing to shoot it, but never. It always happens where the plane gets too close and they can wipe them out by just a simple touch. You know.
And they're
Um,
always shooting rifles at it. Like, what's a rifle going to do?
I guess when you're not expecting that, you're running for your life, but you have no place to go. You're just kind of like, oh well, let's just start shooting. Just like Tom Hanks, remember in Saving Private Ryan when he's just about ready to die, and that big tank comes at him,
He takes out his
and
1911 and just starts shooting at it.
just starts shooting, and they actually blow. Well, it's not him that blows it up, but he thinks it is. It's actually an airstrike. That's kind of like, fuck it, this is all I got. Boom, boom. So
Because in the original movies, they had the cool rocket artillery.
yep,
They
exactly.
they had the truck, that.
Yep,
Why
yep.
didn't they have that?
I don't get
People
it.
love that.
Is it because they really didn't know what they were dealing with and the size of these things? I don't
It's
know.
stupid. I heard like if you make a movie and you make the Pentagon look good, they'll give you access to everything.
Mhm.
But then if
Did
you
you think did you think the Pentagon looked good in this?
well, it wasn't even the Pentagon. It was just mismatched. Like the military was some generic military with people of all different ages and beards and not beards and shaved heads and
Don't they always make the military though look like some blundering idiots? Like we've got a brand new bomb that we've been developing and we're gonna try it on
oh yeah, they had that dumb what was their dumb bomb that took all the
the
oxygen out?
oxygenator.
So then you see all
Well,
the fish bloop bloop
well,
bloop.
yeah, yeah. But what I don't understand, Diggs, and this is where your brilliance comes out. If you can breathe underwater where there's no oxygen, if you just went underwater for the time being, wouldn't you be fine until you came back up or what?
Yeah,
I
because
don't
pretty
know.
much fish extract the oxygen through their gills in the water.
Okay, so
So
I
I'm
was
going to say you're correct.
yeah, but I just love that. We've got a brand new bomb. They've always these Godzilla movies have been developing a bomb that they're going to use, and never and it never works. Never works.
Now, what did
So
you
they just
what did you think of the bad guy? No, I love him, but he was underutilized. His name is Charles Dance. He was Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. The last two movies we saw had people from Game of Thrones, John Wick, and now Godzilla King of the Monsters.
well, who's the lady? She looks so familiar to me. That worked side by side with him to awaken all the creatures.
Yes,
Do you remember who that is? I was gonna
we'll look that up.
get our Google boy. Um, you didn't see him much. He was very sinister, and
Yeah.
that's what they were going for, obviously. Um, and all those sinister guys, same thing. They come in and just wipe people out and have no regret about it. I didn't understand the point though, going through all that for not any money behind it. Was there money? How were they gonna? What was the payoff for him?
I don't know. Just he hated everyone and just wanted to start over.
I mean, is that what it was? I mean,
Just kind of a
because
nihilist.
well, but why would you? I mean, let's face it. Why would you like to wake up to utter destruction? I mean, who would want to do that? I didn't like that about the story. Um, I wish they would have done that a little bit differently. You didn't need a sinister guy who wanted to save the world by using all 13 or 12 of the Titans that they were calling them. So they went and awoke them with some goofy uh, sound wave type thing that this lady created. Um, I guess I didn't like that part of it.
But
Uh,
he's a cool actor. I wish they would have used him more. I mean,
I'm not saying, yeah, I'm not saying he's good or bad. I just didn't like his. I didn't like his.
the character,
Thank you. Yeah.
the nun. Did you see the nun?
Oh, I did. Yes, I did see that. That's where she's from. She
Okay.
was a nun. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Um, I like the nun better than Godzilla, I have to say. But
Really?
anyway, yeah. But getting back to Godzilla, it kind of reminded me of a Marvel movie. I mean, you have all these. The Wasp isn't the Wasp. It's Mothra. Monster Zero. And when did Mothra and Godzilla become such close friends? Is my question to you.
Yeah. I
I
don't
didn't
know.
get that
In the movie or in the
in the saga of those two. I didn't realize they were buddies.
we'll have to look back.
Yeah, I thought
But
Mothra was, a sinister, evil being that he fought. He fought all those people, but the Mothra saved Godzilla.
now
So
what do you think of Godzilla, his portrayal, the character, the CGI?
I thought it was good. That's probably the best part of the movie was his portrayal. Yeah, I mean, you can't go back to that campy foam costume look in 2019, and they have to streamline him. And he's definitely bigger than how he was depicted back in 1954, the original. Uh, I liked it. I thought that was probably the best part of it is
See,
his
I wanted
depiction.
his head bigger in relationship to the body. More like a
Okay.
T-Rex, where they have the giant head.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the blue when it lights up?
Um, a new twist to that type of thing. You're talking about his tail? When his tail was lighting up?
Well, it goes up up his spine.
Or whatever that was. Tail to spine, yeah. It just makes me wonder if they do and they're going to pit King Kong against Godzilla. King Kong's fucked. I mean, how's King Kong going to take out a guy that's got radioactive breath and fire breathing and is? I mean, all King Kong can do is fight.
He's a
He's like a Mike.
walking atomic bomb, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a Mike Tyson though, And King Kong would just take his tail and just whip it. And don't you think that would be the most unfair fight?
When they
Those,
keep changing the scale of the monsters.
yeah.
Like every movie, it's big, it's small, it's big, it's small. You're
hmm
absolutely right. Did you like Monster Zero, the three-headed dragon?
You know what I liked about that is it brought me back to my childhood days. They brought those guys back. Absolutely. Rodan, Monster Zero, Mothra, all the ones that we saw as kids, and here they are back again. Um, my gosh, with Monster Zero and that guy from Game of Thrones, did it throw you back to Game of Thrones days? Because it kind of was like Dragon-esque,
Oh,
Monster
that's
Zero.
funny you said that because I think it's weird. You're right. They throw in the guy from Game of Thrones, and then they have the dragon. It was pretty cool. But, I kind of overdosed on all the filters. Why can't it just be a blue sky? Why can't Godzilla attack on a nice blue day? Nice blue
Right.
sky day. So the storms and oh my God, everything. The smoke and everything is blue filters and they just love the blue filters and a little bit, but god damn, dude, everything is run through it. Maybe it's because of Snapchat and all the women have to do that stupid thing with the ears and the button nose, the Snapchat filter.
hmm Well, I think you know the real reason. Number one,
To hide the CGI, is that what you're gonna
yeah,
say?
yeah, because CGI isn't that good yet. Or I mean, it's good,
Now,
but
now, did you notice? That's funny you said that because as it went towards the end, it almost looked like. Do you remember that movie, The Giant Claw, we were talking about episodes ago?
yes,
Do
yeah,
you remember when
yeah.
when
That's
when Rodan started looking like the puppet from the
yeah,
Giant Claw?
yeah. That is so funny because I was thinking that exact same thing. Except I was going to mention that too, but I forgot the name of the movie, of course. And also when the are you talking about the part where where the pilot ejected into the mouth of
Yes.
Rodan? Yeah, I was thinking that exact same thing. Oh, that's funny. We were on the same wavelength for
Oh
that
my
right there. Yeah.
God. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, and in all, it's just a stupid monster movie. So I don't know. Like I tried to go into it and not criticize too much.
Yeah.
But God, the action was god awful. Like that, the guy, the dad, wasn't he horrible? He just, oh my God, and the daughter. I hate that thing when they're always running and everything's exploding and they live every time.
Yeah, but no, see, I disagree with you. He was from Friday Night Lights. He's a good actor, and of course, I don't know his name, but I didn't think he was bad. I hated the fact that I didn't know if Madison was a boy or girl till halfway through the film. Did you pick up on me that she was a girl?
I did.
Okay, you're so much smarter than I
I'm
am.
powerful.
Um,
Now, did you
but
notice? I talked about crying. That's the latest
mhm,
thing in movies, and you didn't
mhm,
realize what I was getting at. But of
mhm.
course, they had the tear roll down the cheek, and I've been noticing in a lot of movies. Like I said, Get Out, the tear running down the cheek. Everyone has
Which
the
one? Where was that again? Remind me on that. I don't remember the tear rolling down the cheek.
for Madison.
When was she? When was she born? When was that?
Well, I don't know who died or who didn't die or the mom.
Okay, okay,
Was it when the mom took off in the Humvee? I don't know, but she had a
okay.
and a lot of times I heard now they digitally add it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I don't recall that specific scene here. I mean, there's just so much action. They're throwing themselves into buildings, and I mean, very similar to the ending of Endgame, I thought, where everybody's getting the shit kicked down, but nobody dies. You know.
Exactly.
Um,
I mean, like you said, it's just a monster movie, so I don't know. You Godzilla bites the head off, and then it just grows back,
yeah,
and then Rodan gets impaled by the little
yeah,
Mothra, and then
Mothra.
it's fine.
Yeah, it's like, what's up with this? Now, do you know how we oftentimes through horror movies and stuff or monster movies say it's less is better? Do you think that movie showed way too much monster, or do you think people are like, yes, this is what I want to see. I want to see the monsters.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Is it kind of like Gonzo porn where there's no story and it's just all action? I
Hmm.
don't know. But I mean, because if you try to make it a serious movie, it's not a serious movie. It's just a monster movie. So
Right,
you're right. What's better? Just have it nonstop monsters, or
right, right, exactly. Because they got after it right away in this one. Where normally the Godzilla movies of the 1950s, they don't show Godzilla. I mean, there's little hints of him, but they don't really show him a lot until maybe halfway or three quarters through the movie. Where this right away they started showing the monsters. I like Mothra right away. Um, Godzilla they showed him from the 2014 clip. It was a lot of they showed him a lot. I guess if you want to see him, you're gonna get to see him in this movie. So unlike Cloverfield, they don't show that they don't show that monster, which would be very similar to Godzilla. They don't show it at all. Maybe two, three times, just little glimpses of it.
yeah, like I remember in the B-2 bombers dropping bombs on it.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes that movie good because you know there's a monster, but you really don't know the extent of him and how horrifying is he. And it kind of adds to the buildup of it.
I think the dumb thing in Cloverfield where they had the little babies. I can't stand when monsters have little babies.
Oh yeah, that was very reminiscent though of Jurassic Park, I thought, you know, where the little guys come out, the little raptors come out, which are usually more deadly than the actual monster itself.
I think
But
they should have had more cityscape too, because they should have made some, jokes about like having Godzilla step on a train or maybe not step on the train, like he's gonna, and then the last second doesn't want to step on the train. You know,
gosh, I thought there was a moment where he did do a train step because they always infamous for showing his feet.
yes,
You
stomping a
know,
house or
whenever he comes, but you ever notice when he comes to the scene, you'll hear him walking from like 10 miles away, and then it gets louder as he approaches. But then when he's there, you never hear the feet anymore, because he's there. Does that make sense to you what I'm
no, I
saying?
know exactly what you're saying. And I kind of
Yeah.
always liked how he would walk off into the sunset, when everything's done. He would just walk back into the ocean.
That was always Steven Spielberg's forte. Like in I keep going back to Saving Private Ryan, but he always built up the entrance. If you remember Saving Private Ryan in that last scene when they're trying to save that town, um, the German Panzer Division is coming, and they don't announce it, but all of a sudden you see the dirt You hear the roar of the panzers, but you also see the dirt shaking and the rock is falling back into the foxhole with them.
Are you saying like
You,
Jurassic Park where the Jello starts shaking?
exactly. That's Steven Spielberg, how he does that, builds that up. You know, I love that when they're those little subtle things, exactly like the Jello shaking, kind of like my stomach as I go up
Yeah,
the
I was
steps.
gonna say we should have that on the podcast. Right before the mics, you just hear the gurgling and you adjusting yourself in your car. And
uh, you funny Dags. Movie that we saw yesterday intrigue you or nothing that really make get you all fired up?
well, it's funny you said that. I was thinking about movies. I was thinking about Godzilla. You know how no one gets killed, and Endgame. You're talking about just fighting, and I'm kind of burnt out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think about 4 months ago we talked about horror films when we went to Halloween, and we talked. That's where we started talking about the knife sound effect. Every movie's got that knife sound effect, and I saw Nun, Halloween, Conjuring, and it just all kind of becomes the same film after a while. How many more horror films can you do? It's kind of like these end games. They're all kind of running themselves into each other. Endgame, Godzilla. It's kind of like this is just a continuation with monsters of what Endgame was. So
Yeah,
I thought
I don't know. I mean, it's almost like you need some cleansing of the palate, just
so.
like to
No more,
start over.
no more Marvel movies for a while. Of course, they're going to pound those things out. There was a trailer for one yesterday. What you know what looked I thought looked really good was Joker. What'd you think about that?
No, that's funny. We're on the same wavelength. You asked me about it. It looks stupid.
Right,
Like the clown is not scary. It's stupid. They had
right.
the old lady running around naked in the background, and you know, it's been done. There's
So
nothing. There's nothing
wait a
about
minute.
that.
So you did an old lady in a back room naked? You said it's been done. I thought you were talking about a personal
It's
experience,
completely
but
natural.
I know it
Just
is.
embrace it.
I
So
agree.
that movie, and I had the kids growing up. It seems stupid to me. I did not like
Yeah.
that. But the Joker was interesting to me. It was different.
Hmm.
It came at the Joker differently, and I liked it. I mean, we'll see what the actual movie looks like, but he's a good actor.
Right. Right. Um. Now you're our comic book expert, Diggs. It Marvel is constantly introducing single characters and making movies out of them. Okay. DC introduces the Joker without Batman. Is that the first time DC has really introduced a character,
A villain.
uh, a villain, all on its own without Batman being present? It is, isn't it?
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Right? We had
Right.
Batman, Aquaman. I don't know. I
Uh,
mean, you're probably right, but it
which I
looked
which
cool.
I,
The music was cool, and it can had that urban gritty feel.
right.
He was it's the Pagliacci. It's a clown that's laughing in the outside, crying in the inside.
Right. Right. It looks very good, and it was just interesting to see that Batman won't be a part of that, which they're introducing the character, the villain, like you said, all on its own, which I didn't know DC. I don't think DC's ever done that before, but I could stand corrected on that. So
And I've said that I make an intelligent comic book movie. And I mean, The Watchmen I thought was good.
mhm.
You should check that out, see what you think. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but at least it was trying to be a little more adult and not just so, like you said, the end game. It was just a bunch of CGI thrown together, and they're just cranking these out too. Put some
Mhm.
artistic thought into them.
Right,
Try to
right. No, I
approach
agree.
it from a different angle. No, you're right.
Right.
The Joker was one that stood out to me.
Mhm. Do you remember when they said that was coming to the theaters?
No, I don't, but we could look
To
into it.
to the theater. I mean, that's not the first time I've seen that
Do you
trailer,
want me
but
to look it up?
um, go ahead. While you
Okay.
do that, I'm going to give my review, my buggy wheel. We're going back to Godzilla. I don't want to beat it to death, even though Godzilla beat the crap out of all the. You know what I hated 2 days is the end. Or should I say this or not? It's kind of a spoiler deal.
Oh,
They're not
spoiler
really.
alert. Go ahead.
Well, they bow to him, you know, and I'm like, what? that just seemed really corny way to end that whole thing. What did you think about that?
Well, thanks for reminding me because the other monsters were stupid, weren't they? I mean,
Yeah, it looked like
talk about no thought put into it.
it was like a woolly mammoth was one of them, and
A
like
bad, ugly looking woolly mammoth, and then just some spidery looking things, and they were stupid.
yeah,
I mean, that just goes to show you, like, the monsters that were created in the 60s, they were iconic.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why that's probably the best part of that movie is the return of Monster Zero, Rodan, and Mothra. You know, and all of a sudden they throw this other goofy things at you, but
Yeah,
they're
and they were
bowing at the
horrible.
end.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they were in some movies back in the day. I don't remember them.
No,
But they
nor
were
do I.
horrible characters.
Yeah,
I mean, at least do something. You know, you had out of mythology. You know, you have a kind of a Godzilla T-Rex. You have a giant bug. You know, you have Rodan, which is kind of like a
pterodactyl.
pterodactyl. Exactly. Do a giant Sasquatch or do something. You know, that could be the American monster.
Mhm.
You know, or before the flood in the Bible, there was giants that walked on Earth. You know what I mean? Bring some of that mythology up, but those monsters were just half-ass CGI garbage.
Right, right. But anyway, all in all, I because it brought me back to the childhood days. We haven't seen Monster Zero or Mothra. I said this 4 times. I'm gonna say it again. They introduce you to them again, the newer version of them. We've already seen a newer version of Godzilla multiple times, but they've never added those characters. I liked that in the movie. I'm a Godzilla fan. I did catch a little nap during it. I think we were with my daughter this time. I think I caught about a 3 minute. She woke me up. I was snoring, but it was only at the quiet moments. I know when to take naps when they were in the submarine heading down. I'm gonna give it 5 being the best. I'm gonna give it a 3 buggy wheel score.
The CGI, speaking of the submarine, was horrible, wasn't it?
I was sleeping. I don't know.
Did that even look underwater? You know,
I don't know.
I hated the CGI. It was all smoky and filters and good God. I mean, maybe have one scene where but other than that, just shoot it the way it's supposed to look.
Right. Right. But
And I couldn't and pan back or something and show the big picture. They did a couple times, but they got zoom in and I can't track all that stuff going on.
Well, that's the thing too. It was a long movie. I mean, it wasn't Endgame long, but it was over 2 hours, and that starts to get lengthy. Do we need the setup of that magnitude of can't we just say, hey, we're taking a submarine down, we're gonna shoot radioactivity into him and wake him up again?
It was stupid. It reminded me of Spock on Star Trek when he had to go in the reactor and sacrifice his life, and
yeah,
it's just so corny.
So what do you give it, Diggs?
I'm gonna give it to 5 buggy wheels. I'll give it a 3.
Okay, that's right. You and I are on the same lines. So 3 apiece, 3 me, 3 you.
The average moviegoer, you know, the popcorn movie, yada yada yada. But it was do something more with it. I like Godzilla. I have a blue sky, have him step on some trains, you know, knock over a bridge. Come on, that's what people want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right there.
The military was garbage, and the weapons were garbage, and the planes were stupid, and like when the Mothra, they had the little guys with the guns. They had the little stun guns, or what the heck was that?
Yeah. I forgot about that portion of the show.
And then Mothra spits little webs at him, and
yeah, that was actually kind of cool, I thought, but you know, it's different than everybody else was fire breathing. He wasn't. So Diggs.
I mean, a moth is drawn to a flame, so I don't know. Mothra should have flew right into Godzilla's mouth.
Interesting.
Now, Godzilla had different atomic breath, right? It wasn't always blue. So
yeah, they jazzed it up because they supercharged him. Remember?
But then he turned red. That part was kind of cool.
Yeah, but he was supposed to blow. How come he didn't blow?
I know. He wasn't excited enough.
Okay.
Johnny Rage, another powerful episode.
Oh, they get better and better, just like meat on a grill.
Yes.
The longer it gets smoked, the better it is, and we've been in the smokehouse for many, many years.
Now we're going to need you, Johnny Rage, to find out what kind of wood are you using: a mesquite, apple, cherry, etc.
I know. Well, it's none of the. It's not. If anything, it's mesquite. I know it's not apple or cherry, but it's probably
hickory. That's
Hickory
that's
gets
another
hickory.
strong smell.
I think it's hickory dickory dock.
Roger that. Well, we thank everyone that listened to this powerful podcast. Please help support us. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at Amish Bee Machine. Check us out on Instagram. We have powerful merch. AmishBabyMachine.com. We also have Patreon. Go to patreon.com or link on the website AmishBabyMachine.com. Please tell a friend about our powerful podcast. And until next time, you've just enjoyed the Amish Baby Machine podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Amish Baby Machine Pop Culture Podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere else fine podcasts are found. Please support our podcast through Patreon and shop our merch at AmishBabyMachine.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. This has been an Amish Baby Machine production.